There we go. I'm thinking of just getting like a shipping crate to sit on.
Really?
Yeah, man, this thing is like super lean back.
Um,
Yeah. Maybe you could turn my mic up a little more so I can have more range or something.
okay, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, I got you. How's your mic now? Let's see.
My mic, go A, B,
Okay.
C, D, E. Can
Yeah.
you hear me well?
Yeah, I got you. Let me see if we're up and running or start streaming or we're. Oh, yeah, we have excellent connection right now. So we're up
That's
and
great.
we're up and going. How do we want to put a plug out there of some sort?
What do you mean put a plug out there?
Like let people know that we're doing the show. And you need to know.
I'm indifferent.
And it's one to grow. Let me see here. Let me just go on. I know your mother had told me like it took you guys like 40 minutes to get it up and going and you know, and I'm like, yeah, I know it's
okay.
We coming in easy.
Yeah.
Do you know I'm not hating on your mother. I love your mother. She's a great person.
Sure.
I'm just and she's not the only one that's giving critical feedback. I'm just telling you that people are like there's way too much noise, maybe it's too busy at the market, maybe there's too much stuff going on. I got a music bed here.
Yeah.
That's what that is. I told you that before, right?
Music bed, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bed. We made the bed and we're about to lie in it. We're lying in the cut.
Yeah, we're sleeping.
So, yeah, laying in the cut. I'm lying to myself.
I don't know about that analogy. I don't like to be in my bed during the day. It's a place for sleeping, a place for rest. It's a sacred
For
place.
sure. It's a sacred place. Let me see if I can't copy this link, though, from my own YouTube and just kind of like send it to you.
I honestly love the flavor of this.
That layered?
Yeah,
I'm good on the layered. I have had too much caffeine, actually. You like that layered mix?
Yeah, this is nice, bro. Superfood coffee with a little bit of your coffee with a little bit of the maple sugar. It's a really nice mix.
So let's see here. I'm going to go into
Here comes our boy Chris.
recently added. That's right.
Chris was gonna be a part of the show, but then bailed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Chris. He's like too busy slinging tortillas, man. You know what I mean? When you're busy slinging tortillas, you ain't got time.
Not everybody wants to go back to ground zero and start something.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's something beautiful about restarting the journey, revisiting the beginning stages
Yep.
of growth.
Yeah, you can hear there's
Can be quite daunting.
we got some stuff popping off in the background. Hold on a second.
Although each time we revisit the beginning, we strengthen our base.
I mean, I'm just trying to get things up and going here. I want to just check out the
I feel like I'm on Rainbow Road right now, racing.
yeah, let me just check out like to see if this is up and running, and then we're gonna send the link out. Like this is the way we have to do it because we don't have it the human beatbox Gunner Grieve.
Racing on Rainbow Road.
Oh, you
I'm a racing toad.
We freestyle too. So tell me, Gunner, while I'm doing this, tell us about. So now you're staying at a clean living facility, and we haven't spoken about that.
Correct.
And you're
Yeah, man, I'm at sober living right now, and I don't struggle with sobriety. It's not something that, is a problem for me, but let me rephrase that. And that's what's happening, like I'm going through the phases of recovery and the requirements of this sober living house, somehow, some way, that's where I ended up currently. I was living at my parents' house and wasn't living up to the requirements that they had set, the boundaries in order to live there, which was to work X amount of days a week, to, in their words, be focusing and working on my mental health, and to, I mean, those were kind of the requirements that I wasn't fitting from their perspective. Their idea of me working on my mental health is psychiatry and, really leaning into this modern medical system that I don't align with.
Yeah, you've mentioned so they
put me into the
sober living.
Sober living was the option, or essentially being homeless and like couch surfing, living at other people's houses. And I wasn't really feeling inclined to like reach out to everybody and be like, hey, can I crash with you? Hey, can I live with you? Like, that's not
well,
really
you didn't want to be a burden. You didn't want to be a burden for your friends.
I mean,
or your peers.
I know that I wouldn't be a burden, but
not necessarily a burden, no matter what.
It just didn't feel like, I didn't feel inspired to do that. It didn't feel exciting for me to do that. Like, it almost felt more exciting for me to kind of like be homeless, which is kind of strange, to live at like a park or to like not know.
I'm telling you, living at a park. So I knew I think that you increasingly become less stable if you're living at a park and outside, like meaning that if you already have, or you might be on the spectrum, right? Like,
which I might be.
Yeah, and I very well might be too. I told you about those wheels, man. I told you not to roll.
We could call it squeaky wheels.
I told you not to bring those carts around here. So what I'm saying is that you already might be, let's say, on the spectrum, or somebody that has it. You're already not necessarily fitting into society, and then you're on the streets and you're not getting a good night's sleep ever. That's one thing. First off, you have to like.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe you're right.
You think that you're getting okay? Let's put it this way.
Honestly, you're so right, because that's why I decided
sleep
to go to this sober living, is because it's where I can get a good night's sleep. Like,
there you go.
It's better than sleeping outside. It just is.
It just is.
And that's something that I need to prioritize right now with just life in general. Sleep is probably
this is a slow Californian saunter right here. You see the way that girl approached like the farmer's market? Did you notice that saunter? You will never see a saunter like that in New York City. Do you know what I mean? Like, where you're just like, you don't have a care in the world. You don't have an appointment. You might get an orange. You're like, I could do a cantaloupe. I don't know. But that it was a certain je ne sais quoi to that walk that you just couldn't fathom right there, other than in California.
Maybe in Italy.
No, I had a great moment in Rome one time that you're reminding me, and I saw and we don't have the camera on me, but it was a 10-year-old, and this is
let me put it on you.
And this is prior to having a cell phone myself. I was traveling around, and I was in Rome at the time. I was in Europe, and maybe I was around your age, and he was on the cell phone talking like this, giving instructions about maybe he wanted his tortellini al dente to his mother when he gets home. You know what I mean? He was giving these instructions on like a little tiny
don't break the pasta.
Yeah, on a little Nokia phone. Like he was like in a rush. And he just had the cadence.
He was putting the punctuation with each hand.
Yeah. He was just had the cadence and the punctuation, and just all of the like the sort of mannerism of a guy that's like is working the stock market and is like he's closing a deal. It just had a certain sort of energy to it that that I never actually see from adults even here.
I don't know. I see with Joe Vecchione a lot.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like that guy is the most intense chiller of all time.
Yeah. Yes. That's true. That's a good point. He's chilling, But he's very intense. So let's go back. Let's not get sidetracked. And we want to talk about the sober living. So
Sure.
you don't have any substance. From what I see, actually, you're like on this. As far as spectrums are concerned, to keep that.
I got a little fucking seasoning on me, bro.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that you're leaning more towards being a health nut than somebody who is putting toxins into their body for.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're experimenting with, I don't know, flaxseed, but like you're not experimenting with any sort of.
No, like nothing like cocaine, heroin.
That's what I mean. Like
I'm not going crazy, bro. Like the most I'll do is psychedelics. Like maybe try out. Probably the most I'll ever do is Molly at like a music festival.
At like Burning Man?
Sure. Or like some sort of deep house music festival where I can just like feel the warm hug of that crowd and just like vibe out.
Yeah.
And really connect in that way. I like to use psychedelics and drugs to connect.
Sure.
And to access.
Not to just
a geek
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but there are times where I feel myself wanting to like smoke or drink, not drink, but just smoke weed, and I know that that's like the little bit of addiction that I have, because I have an addictive personality for sure.
So that's what your parents are aware of that, and that's what they're picking up on, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, they've seen me go through these highs and lows, but the lows are so much more highlighted because each time I go through, a journey of like, okay, I want to smoke weed, but instead I'm going to go work out. They don't see that, but they do see when I smoke weed instead of working out.
Yeah.
So they see and it's just, it's how this kind of world operates. It's like our reputation is so important because when we break it, then we're known to break our habits and like go through these up and down phases. Let me kind of recap that a little bit.
Recap it.
It's almost like there's
you have a cycle though. You go through a cycle, and it's a little bit of what you're saying is it might be a little bit of a manic and depressive cycle.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So that might be like when we say on the spectrum, we mean on the spectrum essentially of schizophrenia, and that's what honestly, like when that would be what you think of like the bell curve of the spectrum, and the most extreme cases are those that might be. I mean, there's some people that might be unable to communicate at all. There is the cases of that, and you have these these severe autisms that I sent you the telepathy tapes, right?
Yes, I've listened to some of the telepathy tapes.
So those are people that they call spellers, right? So they can't even communicate. And then you have some extreme cases of what's cutting out. Well, tell me about that.
No, just turn my headphones down a little bit.
So then you have
too much.
Some cases.
You turned them down too much.
Okay, are you good now?
Touch more. Good.
We had you basically where we had you before. It's all right. I just brought down the volume on our mics a little bit. So anyway, and that's something I would like some feedback from people out in the audience. But some people might. Let's see if there's anyone listening right now. Oh, okay, I can see I'm on a little bit of a delay, but excellent connection from here. I might even come down here for Wi-Fi when I'm not doing the show. I might just cancel my Wi-Fi at home and just be in the park.
Yeah.
So maybe, like I said, on the spectrum, you have this sort of you're dealing with a certain mania or and maybe your parents are picking up on that and things that you share an intimate space with your family. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm an incredibly open person for sure.
So
I'm not afraid to talk about things, and so they can see that, and they get the information that I talk to them about. And usually when when I'm talking with my parents about, in the past, it's been a lot about the experiences that I'm going through. Like I told my mom one day that I was going for a walk and I was listening to this song, and the song was about, it was a Young Thug song about when he shot himself and was like suicidal. There were things on his mind. He shot himself and he was given another chance at life by, you know, surviving it, right? And I told my mom I was listening to that song and I was crying because I had had suicidal thoughts before. I'd been at that place where, you know, I was telling myself this is the last time that I'm gonna stay up late and smoke this spliff. This is the last one, over and over and over again. And I was feeling almost like suicidal by the end of that. Like, what the fuck have I done with my time? Like, feeling bad for myself. And then, you know, through what I've learned is like, I'm appreciative of those moments because they contrast the beauty of life, and they've made me a more complex, diverse individual, somebody who can empathize and connect with a broader scale of people. And I've gone through things, like, not as a victim but as a creator, and I've realized that I've created those situations, right? And so I was telling my mom, yeah, I had these suicidal feelings and thoughts, and I was crying about this song, and we had a very intimate, beautiful moment. Although, and that's just what it was, and it was amazing, right? And then, so they see that, and they almost feel worry as parents, like this could happen again. Like Gunnar could end his life. Gunnar could do, you know, this, that, or the other, and I don't feel scared or nervous. Like, I trust the process and I know what's meant for me. And in navigating this life of mine, I'm consistently learning and growing and developing. And so as I take these steps back, you know,
What steps back? When you say steps back?
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I didn't show up to work.
You got fired?
Got fired from my job.
You got fired from a couple jobs recently. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I got fired from a couple jobs for really the same thing, just not showing up.
Because you're
I took on too many things, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I know, but I
taking on so many things.
And I see that you get gung ho.
Yeah.
You're like gung ho and you're amped about it. And then what is the feeling? Is it just wane immediately? Like what? Like so
It's
you're
like
excited
all
about the new job.
It's like all the responsibilities. Like I got this new job. I had this job I was doing. I wanted to get a raise. I was gonna quit if I didn't get a raise. And so like I talked to the boss about it, and it was like a long time coming. I felt like.
Well, you were only just started working there. You didn't work there that Gunner. I gotta be honest. You didn't work there that
I was
long.
only working there for like 2 months.
He said it was a long time coming. Like
That's how I feel about it, bro. I mean, getting paid $18 an hour to be a personal assistant doing like a bunch of work. Honestly, and the guy
was
tells
your job
me like
exactly. Because I think you bring a great energy to. That's why you're on the podcast. I mean, I think you bring a great energy to. Set
things
and
I'm
a setting,
in.
and the things that you're involved in. But what? How are you of value, of such great value as a personal assistant to this guy?
Yeah, right. So I'm essentially the manager of the store. It's a one-man show. I'm putting my energy into all of the handmade garments by nodding and blessing each garment. Like they're these neck scarves that have the.
Well, okay, wait. You're doing like stock work. Let's use.
Stock work, but it's like I'm not just organizing shit. I'm organizing things. I'm knotting things.
Are you selling things too?
I'm cutting things. I'm selling things. I'm making sure the store's clean.
So but hold on, God, you're a salesman for the store. Yeah, and you've done sales before. You worked at a suit store. Did you have to do fittings at the suit store?
Yes.
What was your? Let's go all the way back. What was your first job, Gunner? What was it?
Lemonade stand.
Was that your own lemonade?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not necessarily a job. That's your first entrepreneurial endeavor, let's call it.
Yeah.
But what was your first job where you're working for somebody else, where they have expectations? You have expectations of you to perform. Like a lemonade stand is like what? You squared away like $1.50 or like, I don't know, $10.50. How much did you make that day at the lemonade stand? Let's
Probably
really.
like $50, bro.
Wow, you were stack bundles.
Yeah, we were breaded up.
Okay.
Youngins. Like,
That's amazing.
like we made
Where were
good
you
money
doing
the
that on? In like the boardwalk? or-
corner of our street, actually.
Okay. And we're not going to blow up your spot, and we're not going to put that out there what corner that is. But let's just let you know that's Venice.
That's a hot corner.
Yeah, that's a hot corner. But so
Was honestly thinking about doing it again.
cool.
Just running it up like.
I
full
see some
time sake.
performers coming through here with speakers and like buskers. You know what I mean? And they're like, we already got this corner on lock. Little do they know that we're busking to a public that's in the ether somewhere, not at this market.
Yeah.
Do you know, like they're like, damn, they already got that corner. We're like, we do, but you could join. Because we're not asking, we're not soliciting.
They could totally join.
Okay, so
First job, right?
first job. Let's go back. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah,
And we'll get to Space Odyssey later, but let's talk about like that first job.
job that I've.
Do we have
ever-
any interviews set up today? I'm asking, Gun. Do we?
We could.
Okay.
I mean, we could get some marketeers.
I keep looking over at this guy, and I think this guy is my buddy Darius. You know how like somebody like just looks like somebody's silhouette? Like you look up and you're just like, every time I'm like, that's Darius there, but it's not. Anyway, so your first
job might have been Surreal Surf School. That's what it was. I was a surf instructor. I made great money too, bro. I was like 16, 15, working for this guy Ricky who taught me how to surf, and I was working for a surf school. So I taught kids how to pop up on the boards, how to like ride the waves. I was in the waves with them, stabilizing the boards while they were like tipping over left and right. And so legit teaching kids how to surf from the ground up. And the expectation there was to be on time, was to be present with whoever I was coaching in the surf school.
Yep.
And to really just have a good attitude, about the
Well, that goes
the
without
situation,
kind of saying.
right?
Like, if you have a job and
Yeah,
you're dealing with the
yeah.
public, I think that you got to have a good attitude. That it starts there, and everything else can kind of follow. Like, you can kind of instruct somebody, like, listen, be attentive. Like if somebody's drowning, go out there and save them. Like, like that sort of thing, right? Like, but like being a nice guy is like, and you're that already. We know that.
Yeah.
Like that goes without saying. But so the responsibilities were you actually instructing kids?
Yes. So I would be
Like
in the
telling them
water
how
with
to
them.
paddle, how
I'd
to
be
duck
like,
dive.
paddle, pop up. We were on wave
Yeah.
storms and kind of surfing more white water, so no duck diving.
Yeah. Okay.
Water safety. What to do when you get off the board, how to protect your head if the board's coming at you.
How would you protect? Let's instruct us now. How would you protect your head?
Yeah,
if
you kind of just like put your arms
you
up.
put a
like,
guard up.
You put a guard up
Like a boxing
like
guard.
a boxer would, but
Yeah.
a little bit higher up. So like your forearms are protecting your face, kind of like a kind of like a cage. You can also put your hands fully over your head and protect your neck.
Yeah.
You really want to protect your neck.
Protect your neck, like that's Wu-Tang right there.
Protect your neck.
You know that track, right?
I do not.
We might be able to get that up and running for you.
Yeah, put it on.
But continue on. So that was your first job, and what happened with that?
I went back to school and couldn't work anymore. It was a summer job.
Yo, I never ever called as
Yeah?
You know what I want to hear, right?
What you want to hear?
I want to hear that
Wu-Tang again?
yeah, again and again.
Hell yeah, again and again. Protect your neck.
I smoke all the mic like smoking Joe Frazier, the Hellraiser, raising hell with the flavor, terrorize the jam like troops
Hold on,
in Pakistan, swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider-Man.
I gotta put this-
Tick tock, keep ticking. When I get you flipping off the shit I'm kicking, the Lone Ranger, co-ed, danger, deep in the dark with the art, to rip the charts apart. The vandal, too hot to handle your battle. You're saying goodbye like to be careful. Roughneck, inspect the decks on the set. The rebel, I make more noise than heavy metal. The way I make the crowd go wild. Sit back, relax, won't smile. Ray got it going on, pal. Call me the project. Then take all your assets, cause I came to shake the frame in half with the thoughts that bomb shit like math. So if you wanna try to flip, yo, flip on the next man. Cause I grab the clip and hit you with 16 shots and more I got. Going to war with the melting pot.
It's the method man for short, Mr. Left. Move it on your left. And set it off, get it off, let it off like a gat. I wanna break food, cop me back. Small change, ain't putting shame in the game. I take game and blow the nigga out the frame. And like bang, my fella live forever. Niggas crossing over like they don't know no better. But I do. True, can I get a soul? Enough respect due to the 1-6 ooh. I mean, oh, yo, check out the flow like the Hudson or PCP when I'm dusting. Niggas off because I'm hot like sauce. The smoke from the lyrical butt make me
What grab my nut, get screwed. Ow. Here comes my Shaolin style. True B-A-B-Y-U. To my crew with the.
Yeah. Come on, baby, come on. Baby, come on, baby, come on.
You best protect your neck.
First things first, man. You with the worst. I'll be sticking pins in your head like a nurse.
ODB, man. ODB is like the guy.
Shame on you when you step through the old dirty bastard straight from the Brooklyn Zoo. And I'll be damned if I let any man come to my center. You enter the winter straight up and down that shit that cam. You can't slam. Don't let me get fooled on me, man. The old dirty bastard is dirty and stinking. They song unique rolling with the night of the creeps. Niggas be rolling with a spaz. Ain't saying gas, bite my style. I'll punch a motherfucker.
Out loud, my style is wild, so book me. Not long is how long that
This guy kinda sounds like Eazy-E.
Styles for my lethal weapon. My pen that rocks from here to Oregon. Here's more again. Hit you like a
From here to Oregon. I love these guys, man. These are classic. That's what when I was your age, that's what I was listening to. You know.
Nice.
Okay, so
Protect your neck.
protect your neck, man. 92.
Come
Enter
in
the
with-
woo.
Come in like a nurse, put pins in your head.
Yeah.
So like he's getting to you,
Yeah.
is what he's saying.
Yeah. He's in your head, man. He's in your head. So you were protecting your neck out in the water. And how did that job go? Can I ask, that was your first job, and what was that experience like?
Fantastic.
That
It's
was
like-
good. You went back to school,
Went back to. Went
and
back
then
to,
this
that
was your
that
junior or
my-
senior year in high school.
Nah,
What,
man,
like early?
that was before high school.
Wow, you had an early job. So like my first job was a paper route, and a soul still laughs at me. Like she's like, "Damn, you're like from a different era," which is true. Like I had a paper route.
She's like, damn, I'm with an old ass dude, right?
Yeah, like I'm like nobody has a paper. Like, have you ever met someone that had a paper route?
No, but I bet that's such a fun job.
It was cool, and I just and you know, this is how I learned about, like, we're talking to you, and we learned about my personality. You know, people want their paper early. They want the news first thing. Guess when I was delivering that paper?
4 a.m.
No, I was like at 4. They were start like. I was such a procrastinator that, you know, I was delivering their paper like it started to be to where it was like I was delivering it in the evening. And they were
No way. You were the worst paper boy ever.
exactly.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's just, it wasn't like I'm just so bad at, like, you know,
Like
I
they were
procrast-
outside ready to collect when you came by.
Well, I do the collecting. They were ready. Oh, they were. Yeah, you. That's a thing that you do. So when you deliver the newspaper.
What's it like?
Well, I had the worst streets. They were like the two steepest streets in this neighborhood, and I had to like, and they were like just the worst streets, like I said. And so I procrastinated, and I can still remember because it was cool. It looked cool to me. I knew people who had paper routes. They were like older, you know, they're like bigger kids, and you were like, I want a paper route. And my buddy Danny Schneider gave it to me, and he had it before me, and I then had to. I can remember the way it looked, like on your BMX bike, you'd wrap that thing, like the paper bag. It was like the Post Gazette or whatever it was like hanging on the handlebars. Yeah.
Yep.
And you'd throw it out, and it just had like a cool effect to it. You know, like it just looked cool, like the way it was like you were a paper boy. And then you had to go around when you delivered the papers once a week. You had stubs, and you had to collect money for it, and that was a hassle. Like you had to go up to the door, and you had to collect their like whatever they owed. weekly from. You can be on the show later, David Spade. Yeah, he got his headphones on. They're looking like David Spade, man, up front. Like you saw him. We got him on camera too. That's a David Spade stunt double right there. Anyway, so so he
Back to the show.
back to the show. I just delivered. I realized there's something about my inclination with doing a job and taking on my own responsibility, which is the way that I worked in my professional life as an adult. You know, like I would fabricate, like I would work on commission, and so I get the deposit, and then I'd wait to the last minute before I knew the deadline. Like before I would make the deadlines, I'd stack it to where I was like working to the last minute. Do you know what I mean? And that's just. And
So you can maximize?
I just think it's a lack of discipline and a lack of and procrastination, and I still suffer from that. You know, these are like things. So what did you notice is what I'm asking about the way that you worked and your first jobs that is like a thread through to what in the capacity that you
Sure.
work still now. Do you know what I mean? What are these
Yeah.
things? Like what are your like my strengths are like obviously like I'm talkative, I'm personable, and that doesn't play much of a factor into being an art fabricator or being like, a builder per se, because
Sure.
I'm working in a studio alone. So I'm like, that's what drew me to the farmer's market, was because I'm like, oh, okay, I can use this personable side of myself, my people's person side of myself. And, it's not like it's it's not like it's a job that's paying well, but it's at least got that, it served that fix. And so you obviously have that on lock as well, meaning you're a very personable guy. We already know that's one of your strengths. What are your weaknesses that you noticed about yourself? Okay, like maybe the surf school was sociable enough and kind of like not, what would you do it for, like 2-3 hours?
It was honestly a perfect job because I had the energy to do it.
Yeah.
And I was working with people and using my body and, really taking the time with each individual to help them with that. And they were also committed. They were there. They were fully present. The things that I've struggled with in my jobs recently has been the absence of that. So at the job I recently got fired at, probably like 4 months ago, that was a sauna cold plunge studio. And
Before we get to that, hold on. So what was your next job? Let's just start from the beginning. So what was your next job after the surf school? What was your next, let's just bump it up to like your most responsible job.
Okay, my most responsible job was Banker's Life, or United Life Assurance, which was life insurance sales.
But that was recently.
Yeah, but that was my most responsible job. Or now might be my most responsible job, because I got to manage my full book of business, reach out to clients, track all that information.
What is that job?
It's called Ice Pass. I do guided sessions with sauna and cold plunge, and I'm one of the curators for the community. So I'm like a
okay. So wait,
leader. I have like a leadership role.
It's another cold plunge job. So let's get to which feels to me a little bit more analogous to the surf instructor. So let's rewind. You know what I mean? As far as the job's concerned, it's like body oriented.
Yeah.
It's dealing with water. We can talk about all that in a second.
Sure.
How those two and these are kind of highlights. What were the jobs? So after the surf, what was the next job after the surf school? Let's not get an insurance.
Jack's Surf Shop.
Okay, so and again, that's a sort of
retail,
a lateral move from surfing into a surf shop.
Yeah.
But now you're like fitting people like with like wetsuits and like boards and like
I love that.
Yo, those bird wells look awesome on you, bro. Like, are you hitting them off with bird wells or what's like?
We're running up like
rash guards.
Yeah, we're running up rash guards, boogie boards, flippers. We're doing
Spongers.
surfboards. We're doing spongers. Yeah. Spongers or dick draggers is what we call the boogie boarders
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
And
Dick draggers is a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It is a good one. Yeah, all the surf gear was really fun because I love surfing and that's something I'm passionate about, and it's super easy to talk to people about it. The thing
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy was the other side of the surf shop, which was the retail side, which was like the clothing side.
Like the sales.
The sales was fine, but I didn't really enjoy like all the folding for hours on end, making sure like the store's clean.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fine. I appreciate the work that I was able to do there because, you know, there's some stuff that's important to handle in order to do the fun things, you know?
Yeah. And so, how were your sales abilities in that sphere, in the
Great.
surf shop sphere?
I mean, great. I feel like I've never really had to be a salesman because everything that I'm ever been selling has been something that I'm passionate about, or something that, you know, I believe in the product, and so all I have to do is really just talk to people about it, and the sales fully fall into my lap. Like I'm not like pushing anybody to buy anything ever. Like I just meet people with where they're at as far as like anything goes.
Yeah. And so you, please keep from frequency. I don't know what that means. Okay, so you you did the. It just gave me a little error message, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. So you did the surf shop, and then after the surf shop, where were you at after that?
After the surf shop, where was I after the surf? After the surf shop, I was at Suit Supply.
Okay, so that was fairly fair. Now we're getting a little bit more recent.
Yeah, but there's definitely been odd jobs in between. Like I was working at like a production company as a PA.
That's an odd job, though. That wasn't like you.
Not consistent.
Not
no.
consistent. Yeah, that was like you more freelance in a freelance capacity. But
Totally.
so when you started doing a Suit Supply, that's also so you were continued to work in retail essentially.
Yeah, retail that was more customized to the person and made to measure. Not
Did you do
made to measure,
fittings?
but I would do fittings. I had to know how a suit fits,
For sure.
how a suit properly lays on top of somebody's body. There's so many different body shapes, and so
How far should the suit jacket come down on the hand? Like when you.
like the sleeve length,
Yeah, not the sleeve length, the length of the jacket itself. Like as a
cover
rule
the
of.
seat.
Actually, it's a rule of thumb. I was going to say this is a rule of thumb, and it is. They said it should come down to somewhere around the end of your thumbnail.
That's not how I learned.
Okay.
I learned differently that it should cover your seat
Yep.
just a little bit, and also split the body in half proportionally, so people have, you know, different shapes and sizes. So like the arm rule doesn't really work because some people have really long arms or some people have really short arms.
That's true. So I mean, that's just kind of like I said, a rule of thumb, but also at the same time, which is, I often heard of, well, I haven't often heard, but, the suit, what do you do? So you would single vents, double vents, do you have, like double breast, all this sort of stuff, like,
Yeah.
so you were informed about all the, it's all the military, really.
Yeah, it is all military, and I had to learn the history. And
Single vent is you're on horseback.
yes,
Double vent is you're on horseback with a sword.
yes,
It's all court related, like in the king's court essentially. That these, and even the necktie is a kerchief. The tradition of the necktie is, I believe, a kerchief from the Bohemian army during like a sort of the Bohemia was once actually a country. I think it's now for Czech Republic, but I think they were helping in the French army during the French Revolution, and their soldiers had kerchiefs on, and hence it was ingested into as a neck kerchief of some sort. It became customary to wear the necktie.
yeah. I didn't,
Which it's in its modern iteration is this long thing
I
that
didn't
comes down
even-
to like your belt,
yeah, I
which
didn't
is
even learn about
ridiculous.
that.
all these sort of things. I'm just thinking about
Yeah.
the tradition of
Suiting.
suiting. But
Yeah, it all comes from mostly military and like royalty, as you
Sure,
said.
yeah.
And
the Burberry trench, for instance, is the Officer One trench. It still has, if you look at the belt loop, if you look closely at a Burberry trench coat, it has, on the belt loops, it has little D-rings, and those D-rings are literally for hand grenades. That's what those D-rings are for. You would have the Officer One, the first officer, would
Yeah.
wear that trench coat. That was what it was made for originally in the British Army,
Yeah.
and it would be those little D rings that are connected to the belt loops or for hand grenades, just in case.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
just that sort of thing. So it's very actually. There's something about suiting, and they say the power suit, that's kind of aggressive. Do you know what I mean?
Shoulder pads and
All of it.
yeah.
The epaulettes. You know what the epaulettes are for? On also the Officer One trench.
Are they the epaulets are like a recognition of superiority or like rank?
Actually, it's a really, really practical, and I thought that too. I thought maybe it was like, to put the tag of the rank on it or something like that. It is actually just as a layer
Protection.
to protect from rain. So you have a seam here, and before they had Gore-Tex or other, I think Grenfell was the first cloth that was used. The Grenfell trench is a sort of quasi waterproof material, but
Okay.
not fully. It's almost like a gabardine or some sort. Like maybe water would beat up on it, kind of. But if you're rained on for a straight minute, it's going into the jacket. So that epaulette is 2 layers of material to protect the shoulder
Why
from
are they
taking
so
in water.
like stylized though? Like
Because everything was. I mean, if you have, it's, and we're going to get to Marshall McLuhan, I was going to say, because we also were talking about, he's the media philosopher, but he would say that fashion is the poor man's art. I told you that one other time, but fashion is like this indication of your rank, so everything is thought about, and it's as he would say, it's an extension of your skin, and it's essentially an armor of some kind. So
your fashion.
Yeah, so it's like, you are, it's a technology that we're using, obviously, to cover ourselves, to not, to limit profanity. Thanks, guys, for watching out for the camera. I appreciate it. As a level of profanity, no, what am I talking about? I just wanted to thank those guys, but so they're not.
Fashion is an extension of
It's an extension of your body, really. It's a shield. It's an armor.
I think
looks like
maybe your Instagram is too.
That's
Like,
true.
Instagram is fashion nowadays as well. And there's so many things that
Soul
is
said
the
send the
ant-
link.
is the antithesis a good word for this? Like the antithesis of fashion is, I don't know how to use that word properly.
The
So-
antithesis of fashion, well, it's not, nothing's antithetical necessarily to fashion. I mean, I guess it's non-fashion, but I'm sending the link to Isolde so she can have it too. Maybe she'll give us some feedback, tell us our voices are crunchy. But yes, technology in all forms, McLuhan might argue, that in all forms, it's an extension of the body. The car is an extension of your body. The automobile,
Yeah.
right?
There's so many things that are extensions of our body, such as like what we wear, our Instagram, like previously said, the cars that we drive, the work that we do, how we spend our free time, the books that we read, what our room looks
Well,
like.
that's not necessarily an extension of your, okay, so when I'm talking about like technology, and now we're getting into like a certain sort of, I wouldn't necessarily say that the books that you read is an extension of your body. Maybe not like
your mind.
Maybe your mind. It's an extension of your mind, which is a more abstract. But I would say that all these sort of like technology, and it's funny that you just watched Space Odyssey,
Sure.
and that is a telling. So you have these naked sort of hominids, right, that are out there in the desert,
yeah,
right,
these-
clutching for like sort of vying over another tribe.
Yeah, they're
for a
fighting
water.
over for like a water hole.
A water, exactly. So, and with zero. Speaking about what we're talking about, and
There's
we're not
no way
going
to identify which tribe is which, other than like
Yeah, they have
their
no
positioning.
uniform.
They have no
Yeah.
uniform, no outfit on.
Other than they recognize each other. Obviously, personally, the tribe is small enough to recognize.
Yeah.
You would know. Like if you were in my team, Gunner, and you were one of the 12 guys on my team, I'd recognize. I'd be like, "There's Gunner."
Yeah.
And you're butt naked. I'd probably recognize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no other way. Like they were butt naked. I love naked. Like just saying
Naked.
naked. So they were butt naked out there, and they had no tools, zero tools. This is like that at the dawn of time, as I think that they even put the sort of subtitle at the bottom there. Dawn
No,
of
they
time.
didn't.
Right? They didn't.
No, not that I remember.
Oh, okay. We got a good look. Look, this guy gave us a nice long look. Get him in. I don't know what happened. So, at the dawn of time, they discover that a bone from a carcass can be used as a tool,
Yeah.
as a weapon, actually.
Yeah.
And it's thrown into the air, and then we fast forward into like some sort of, space
Spaceship.
shuttle of some sort. I think it's actually a.
Yeah, I remember the guy who I was
Space
watching it with
station.
was like, this monkey used this tool, and then we fast forward to humanity where like the spaceship is then the tool. It's like the bone
Yes.
the phases into the spaceship.
Which is technology. A tool is a form of technology. So,
Yeah.
like, all these sort of things. And now, which it made me think when you watched it, I was thinking of this philosopher Guy Debord, which is Society of the Spectacle.
How's the stream looking real quick?
The stream looks good.
Like the camera angle, because I can't see how I set it up. Like,
Yeah.
are we both in it?
Yeah, we're both in it.
Oh, okay, great.
And
Yeah, so Space Odyssey.
I was just thinking about Guy Debord in the Society of the Spectacle, and that he says we'll go from human beings
Hmm.
to humans appearing to just humans having, like that we're not like we're being sort of usurped by our technology itself, and that this gets into like sort of
Like we're losing ourselves almost.
we're losing what it is, which might be like, for lack of also like what might call simulacra, which we're entering into like a
Like the pursuit of more is almost giving us less.
in a sense, yeah, yes,
I agree with that.
in a sense, yes. For lack of a better, or yeah, that as we
Like as we yearn for more more advancement, more pleasure, more
everything,
more everything,
more.
it comes from a place of lack. Because if you want more, you don't have enough. But then there's also the flip side of things where it's like it's important to progress and to move forward towards goals, because in a state of complacency,
Yeah,
that's where madness thrives. And so it's important. It's in our nature to move forward. Although, in a time like now, I feel like it's incredibly important to connect with the things that, and connect with where we came from, this earth, the nature of this earth.
You're getting grounded.
Exactly. It's important to, as we expand upwards, to also expand and connect downwards.
That's what your
And do the external work
that's
of
where your biohacking comes in.
Sure. I mean, that's where the biohacking comes in, because it helps balance the intensity of this life that, we live nowadays, where there's so many things fighting for our attention, and there is a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important to balance out that scale with, cold plunge and sauna, with eating raw organic foods.
How do you? Okay, so cold plunge and sauna. Like I noticed that those are. How much? Can I just get an idea? And we're gonna get back to this too, where you're selling life insurance, which is you
Yeah,
find
we'll get
that
back to it at some point.
you find that selling life insurance is fundamentally a corrupt endeavor.
Yes,
It's a hustle.
That's why I stopped,
Yeah.
because I was finding myself like convincing myself, like making a deal with myself, like I'm doing this so that I can make money, so that I can then create the life I want to live and like support my family and share this money with the farmers markets and things like that. But yet the root of that money is coming
You're
from
doing evil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm doing evil, and it's like, is
And
the
it's-
farmers market a balance for how I justify that? Because I recently met this guy who works in the pharmaceutical industry,
Yeah.
and he drinks raw milk, he does
Yeah, he probably takes
yoga,
good care of
takes
himself.
good
Yeah.
care of himself, yet
But
he
the
does this-
paradox is that he's
working for a company that almost like it's not aligned with it's the opposite, right?
yeah.
And no judgment, like he's doing what he has to do. He's doing him. I don't know what else he has going on, but
See, like this is a great quote from Gita Board here. It says the more this is what you were talking about, the more he identifies with the dominant images of need, the less he understands his own life and his own desires. The spectacle's estrangement from the acting subject is expressed by the fact that the individual's gestures are no longer his own. They are the gestures of someone else who represents them to him.
wow, I would love to hear that again. Can you do it slowly?
The more he identifies with the dominant images of need, the less he understands his own life and his own desires. The spectacle's estrangement from the acting subject is expressed by the fact that the individual's gestures are no longer his own. They are the gestures of someone else who represents them to him.
Tell me if this is right. The more we focus on lack,
The more we focus on what we need, like
more.
yeah,
essentially.
like what you were saying about more. We need more. Like like this sort of like this. Sold often references this term that Native Americans use, and I believe it's shared in other cultures, more indigenous cultures. It's called the hungry ghosts. Like the white man, the colonizers that came over were hungry ghosts.
Sure,
They
but
smelled bad. They always need something more. They
yeah,
always,
the Native Americans really had it on lock, the how to live, yet they were defeated. So
Yeah.
did they really have it on understanding?
well, they were. Well, sure, I get what you're saying. Like that. That's what I told you to read. The Guns, Germs, and Steel. Which,
I mean,
which is
the Native Americans still have their reservations, but it's like
Well, that's a sad.
It's-
the sort of.
it is.
uh,
I mean,
sort of consolation,
they're all not
Yeah.
all of them, but I know they
consolatory
have
gift.
casinos
Yeah.
and have
Yeah.
addiction with alcohol.
Well, alcohol was also introduced by
the white man.
Yeah, the sort of colonizers as well. So these are all things that are not, intrinsic to their diet. You see that with, a lot of like even when I was in New Zealand, obesity is out of control with the Maori culture, the Māoris, the native indigenous peoples of New Zealand. That's where you have a really, and this is like I was saying with Guns, Germs, and Steel, where
Genetics are different.
yeah, so they can't all these like processed oil, all these like sort of Mediterraneans that especially like the Mediterranean diet or the like breads and complex carbohydrates and stuff like that sort of Mediterranean cultures have ingested for thousands and thousands of years. they've adopted to that sedentary lifestyle of, you know, more of an agricultural lifestyle rather than a hunting and gathering sort of, you know, diet where there is. So, you know, you have this inability to, and then you introduce all these fast foods, and then they, you know, and then they're also,
Bodies
it's the
can't
only
handle it.
affordable food, right, that's offered. The only thing that's affordable in a colonized environment in New Zealand would be like McDonald's, and they're eating McDonald's. So you have this, like, you know, sort of a lot of diabetes, a lot of, you know, obesity in those cultures. Like, and this is analogous to the, you know, and that's why I said, like, Guns, Germs, and Steel's really a great Jared Diamond, because he goes and he's like,
Is it a book?
yeah, and he's an anthropologist that's basically studying New Guinea. In New Guinea, that you have this island culture where you can really, like, it's like Galapagos Islands for Darwin. You know, you can kind of, you know, see how, you know, like this sort of, the environment really affects the.
Yeah, similar species that are completely different because of their environment.
Yes, like you know, like the small beak finches. When it's a very windy season in the Galapagos Islands, the small beaked finches have a distinct advantage to crack the seeds versus the larger beak. Like, you have these advantages, and obviously not always bigger is better, but in certain cases, when it's a very windy season, the smaller beaked finches have a distinct advantage over the larger beaked finches.
Sure.
So
And-
similar sort of things you can, so that you can do these sort of isolated studies.
That brings up a thought for me.
What's the thought?
We need to adapt to our lifestyle. Human beings in these cities.
We are though. We are.
We
so-
are, but I feel like there are certain things that
We're already like cyborgs.
are
I say that all the
are
time.
like stealing our energy to successfully adapt to our environment, such as short form content, video games, you know,
Yeah, so-
pornography,
Sure. Are you? But are-
going out late and drinking excessively. Like, there's these sort of
But what you're saying earlier is that, hold on. What we were saying though is that
yeah
that's modern. That's a modern. Those are the modern conditions. Let's say.
yes
And so that your argument just a minute ago was that those that are more able to adapt to the modern conditions are the ones that survive. It's the survival of the fittest, right?
correct.
So, or you're saying that maybe that we need to adapt to those things, not
I would say
abstain.
abstain.
But abstaining is not ingesting that what the modern iteration of existence is really. It's abstaining would be like what the Native Americans did. They said we don't need the white man's stuff. We don't need the white man's guns. We can use our arrows.
Well, I think it's an argument that needs to be like looked at from different angles, as far as, you know,
These guys are
not turning away from new technological advancement, but seeing the things that serve us and the things that don't, because, you know, there's a time and a place to have a celebration and to go out with friends. Like, you're going to connect, you might meet new people. But I mean, mental masturbation and physical masturbation are just harmful. They're not good.
Yeah.
Like, depriving one of sleep, like, you know, it might be good to go there. You know, good and bad are both judgments, of course, although, you know, going there myself, I realized that those things don't serve me and my greater purpose, or
Yeah, I get that.
people in general.
Yeah, you're asserting your own discretion in the way that you
Of course.
interact with stimuli around you.
Yeah.
I get that. But what I'm saying is that, you know, if
It's like heroin can
but
be
if the modern, so maybe we're folding in on ourselves a bit with technology, like
exactly.
so then
exactly.
that's what society of the spectacle, that we've gone from humans beings to merely human appearing.
Yeah, like we're full, like,
We're ingested by the image.
yes. Yeah. Like we're our own, we've officially become our own worst enemy. It's no longer the saber-toothed tiger who lives in the cave
Oh yeah, that's
down the
been
way.
That's been like maybe besides like maybe arguably like maybe still in some sort of indigenous cultures, maybe it's the mosquito still. That's our biggest threat. But for the most part, it's human. It's other human beings. That's long been the case.
Sure, it's like the tribe in Africa that got the
And it's still the case. Not to interrupt you, but it's still the case with regard to our advent. For instance, all these theories coming to roost of singularity and AI sort of taking over.
yeah.
And that's essentially what happens, interesting enough, and it's not a new concept, with HAL 9000, right? The supercomputer in Space
Yeah.
Odyssey. So
Yeah,
HAL
because
is AI.
Hal is AI, and he lies to survive.
Yeah. And we've seen evidence of that already with artificial intelligence, like Open AI or whatever. Like
yeah,
it,
like officially lying to.
And also, which is interesting, that there's a old, like a science fiction from even like maybe the 1920s, and I can't remember the name now, where
It's a crazy time to be alive, bro.
yeah, where two supercomputers
gosh, bro.
very similarly are communicating. There's a USSR computer, and I'm gonna look this up. And so it's not a new meaning that maybe even the AI or artificial like machines taking over might be 100-year-old concept before there were really like I think the advent of the word robot was even roboti or something, or roboti was used in a novel maybe 100 years ago, prior to there even being a physical robot in existence. And so yeah, HAL is like that piece of technology or like that sort of you had to have in a classic sort of, in cinema, you need to have essentially a villain, and HAL was like sort of the villain.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit. Is he a villain though?
Well, I mean, he's
From the human perspective, yes.
Yeah, he's the antagonist.
Sure.
Yeah, from the human perspective, which you're associating with Bum. Is this
Blake, right? Yeah, good to see you, bro.
Is that your buddy Blake from with the one dot chat on?
Bro, I don't even know how I remembered his name.
That was good that you remembered. You don't even know the context in which you
I
know
don't
him.
know how I think it might be from school. From high school, maybe. I think we had a class together. Yeah, we had a class together.
Now you're placing him.
I'm placing him, yeah. Yeah, we had a class together. I think it was either government or computer science. It might have been computer science.
Huh.
Because we're talking about AI, Blake pulls up.
Was that a sign?
Sure. It's a good omen.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up just to see what was the first.
Yeah, because I guess like to go back to the point of like Space Odyssey, like always humans always wanting, not always wanting more, but humans wanting more, and in that losing themselves. Like I personally definitely have an obsession with living my life optimally and enjoying my experience and creating things that I want to create. So relating to my life, like I might be I'm not a victim of that, but I might be creating, that sort of situation for myself, although I don't feel like I am, because I'm learning along the way. Like I'm not losing myself.
Yeah.
I'm not losing myself in that. I'm continuing to ground and continuing to come back to almost the quote unquote like
sort of
the beginning.
the primordial self.
Yes,
You're
like
like-
appreciating
what it is to be human.
Yeah,
Because I do notice that you kind of like, you know,
and
you
I,
have a relationship with your phone where you sort of also abstain from it.
totally. I think there's a huge thing about discipline is incredibly important because in discipline we give ourselves the time to breathe,
Yeah.
to be away from this constant, attention and involvement in all of the things that are going on. So yeah, it's incredibly important, I feel, for me to be disciplined and to give myself that time to think and to appreciate and to feel gratitude, but also to feel the other emotions and to tune them, to modify them. So like if I'm feeling sad or down about something, okay, there's sad on one side and then there's gratitude on the other side of the scale. So how can I work my emotional well-being up to the gratitude side? Okay, like I'm sad that this one girl I like, she's talking to another dude.
Right now?
No,
Currently?
no, but like
Oh, that happened.
like that happened. Like this one girl that I like, we're
Well,
having
you
a
said, well, you
conversation.
didn't say, that's what I'm saying. You didn't say liked. You said this girl that you like.
This girl that I
So that
like.
would say present
We
tense.
were present tense.
This is current.
We were having a Yes, this is current. We were having a conversation, and this other guy pulls up, and she introduces me to him, and he's a cool guy. Yet, at the same time, I start to experience a feeling of jealousy, and like, where does
Did you size him up?
No,
A little bit. You were just like,
little bit.
You were maybe like, who's this motherfucker right here? Did you give him a little bit?
Motherfucker? Who's
Did
this
you
guy?
give him a little bit of that?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah,
You're
he's
like-
a cool dude, but like, yeah,
You're like, he ain't that cool.
yeah.
He's cool, but he ain't that cool.
He's cool, but he ain't that cool, like. So I mean, that's something that I worked on over like the past day. I was like, what's up
So
with that?
you
Like that
so
comes
you worked
from,
on your feelings of jealousy, is what you're
yeah.
saying.
I worked on that feeling and I let go of it because it just is what it is. Like I don't need to be like I'm attached to this person or this specific outcome. It's literally just a conversation at the end of the day. And I think that's where a little bit of my, on the spectrumness can lie.
Is where?
You just kind of, there's something in there.
Wait, with the jealousy thing, or like
Maybe
like
the jealousy thing or the...
That's a natural. I think that everyone, that's kind of universal. I don't know if that's necessarily where I see you on the spectrum. I see you maybe
to close it off, like, it's all about just letting go of that, and
Sure.
I'm appreciative rather than being like upset that we were having this conversation and this other guy came in. I'm just appreciative to even be a part of the conversation in the first place.
Yeah.
To even like have the gift of somebody who I enjoy their company, to even be able to be in their presence for some time is great.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
So
You
focusing on
appreciate the moment.
Yeah,
You
I
live in the
appreciate the
now.
moment,
Yeah,
living in the now.
Living in the now. So, not to digress here, but I did look up what this is a I believe it was a play, and it was a science fiction play by Czech writer Karel Čapek, and it was RUR, which translates from Czech, and I'm not going to attempt to. It's Razum's Universal Robots, RUR, a phrase that has been used as a subtitle in English. The play had its world premiere on the 2nd of January, 1921. And it introduced the word robot. That's how old the word robot and the concept of
1921.
robot. 1921. And RUR became influential soon after its publication. By 1923, it had been translated into 30 languages. Let's see. Oh, yeah, plot. So the play begins in a factory that makes artificial workers with synthetic organic material, which is kind of interesting. Almost like another film that I think you should watch is called Existence.
Synthetic organic material, just processed material, essentially.
Well, I mean, it's organic. So, I mean, maybe it's suggesting that it's like a fleshy sort of object that's actually, maybe it actually grow like the
synthetic
concept
organic material, because synthetic and organic are on two opposite sides.
says synthetic organic material. Like so, as living creatures of artificial flesh and blood that later terminology were called androids. And that's another, which we can get in a whole bunch of stuff with it. There's a whole genre of that as well. But it's funny that was as early as 1920, 21, and that we're seeing, like the manifesting like what Terminator and, like these sort of dystopic tales.
Maybe Star Wars a little
of
bit.
them of technology taking over. There's tons of films and books and all kinds of
Thinking about all the droids in Star Wars, and like the clones,
clones, maybe, touching on that a bit. But what was your takeaway from 2001: Space Odyssey?
I watched an explanation after the movie.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because
Okay, that's cool.
because I tend to do that so that I can
Fully understand
Fully understand.
someone else's interpretation.
somebody else's interpretation of the film, because by the end of the film, like the last 30 minutes are just very psychedelic.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
It's just all different, like multicolored visuals and streams of colors coming at
That's
you
when
from
he's
a
out at
specific
Jupiter.
point. That's when he goes through like the wormhole, I'm
Yes.
guessing,
Yeah.
and he is interacting with this rectangular species of extraterrestrial.
Well, it's not. I don't necessarily know if it's an extraterrestrial, but I feel like that.
I thought it was.
The monolith itself, right? That black monolith.
Yeah,
Is-
because it had a hum to it. Whenever the monolith was on screen, it would be like,
Well, I think that it's for. It's
Effect.
a way. Yeah. For film, in order for you to, often music is filling in the blanks for what might be going on in a sort of in your
Creates a feeling.
an internal space, but when everything has experienced like
music is like 50% of it. I mean, if you have
Yeah.
like circus clown music playing while somebody's getting murdered, it's completely different than if you have
Sure.
suspenseful, crazy, scary music.
yeah
So yeah, I personally, I'll go through how I interpreted it,
yeah
and then how the reviewer, recap interpreted it. And so I saw this psychedelic thing as like the guy interacting with this extraterrestrial species, and it showing him himself at the end, because at the end, after going through this like wormhole almost of different colors and like inverted colors of Jupiter's surface, is how kind of I interpreted it.
yeah
The camera kind of comes down and almost like as like a landing, right?
Yeah.
And then instead of like the camera stopping on the surface of the planet, the guy gets out of the space pod and he's in this like opulent white room, and
Yeah.
he sees himself as an older version.
Yeah, it's like a neoclassical sort of like set, like room that he's like
yeah,
all of a sudden.
transported to.
Yeah.
He gets out of the pod and he sees himself older, eating, kind of like sedentary, drops
Yes.
the cup,
Yeah.
shatters on the floor, like doesn't really like pay too much attention to it, just kind of like
And this
normal.
is the main character, David Bowman.
Which I didn't even realize was the main character, because
Sort of loosely the main. I mean, there's a couple.
I feel like there's the monkeys in the beginning, then there's like the guy who goes up into space, then there's like the people who go to the moon mission, and then all of a sudden like they're going to Jupiter. Like I just felt the whole movie felt very like segmented.
But it's also somewhat loose, that there isn't like really like this main protagonist in this
Yeah,
way.
there's no main protagonist. There's like an arc of
There is an arc. Yeah, I would say so.
there's an arc, but it's kind of like loose, right? So the guy gets to this place and he sees his older self, and I thought it was just like him interacting with this extraterrestrial species, because all of a sudden it pans to his older self, like dying in a bed, and there's like
And then
him,
he's reborn.
yeah,
essentially.
there's like him, his middle-aged elderly self, and then his like dying old self,
Yeah.
all together, and then himself as like a baby, like
Yeah.
a fetus looking at Earth, and I sort of saw it as like kind of a rebirth, and this guy went sort of like The Alchemist, the book. This guy
Yeah.
goes on this like massive journey, like talking about the species of the human race. Like the species of the human race went on this journey from discovering the first tool as a monkey to experiencing this extraterrestrial species at the edge of the universe, only to come back as a baby seeing the Earth. And that sort of like was like, okay, what we're seeking for is already here.
Well, yeah, what is time really? You know, like
Yeah.
it's kind of like that's what I feel like that little montage of
yeah.
where David Bowman arrives at the neoclassical set.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's obviously his living quarters.
Sure.
And that he's like kind of like in this trippy sort of psychedelic way, experiencing himself
Sure.
aging.
Yeah.
And it's like almost observing in a very like sort of like objective way his own lifespan without, in the absence of what it would be without time, in a way.
Totally.
Right? Like that,
yeah, like time wasn't a thing, and it really reminded me of Interstellar, Christopher
Yes.
Nolan.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
that's right.
And how the Matthew McConaughey character goes.
Well,
on,
Interstellar is highly influenced by space.
highly
Space Odyssey.
influenced.
I mean, so much,
And
so
it's-
much of the genre. Arthur C. Clarke, who is a great writer,
Yeah.
also a renowned science fiction writer, British science fiction writer that Stanley Kubrick collaborated with to create this storyline. You know,
Yeah.
they created that screenplay together, yeah, I just find that it's so much has influenced the science fiction, at least film genre. Maybe not so much like because I feel like it. I feel like the science fiction.
Did Jurassic Park come out at the same similar time?
No, Jurassic Park came out, I believe, in 1994.
Because I feel like that's the opposite of this movie. Like, it's a very short story about, you have this very intimate connection to all of these characters.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a sitcom a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's one storyline where and it's like takes place over the course of a day.
Yeah.
Where this is like
The Expanse.
the expansive of infinity.
Yeah, really. I mean, he's like, yeah, he's attempting
Yeah.
to at least collapse time.
Sure. And I think he did a great job.
And so, what was what's the interpretation of the film? What was the when you
I
said
thought I explained it already. Like,
no, not your interpretation.
Oh.
I said that you said that you had a
the video I watched sort of talks about kind of everything that not everything we talked about, but in the pursuit, humans are losing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
In the pursuit of more. Like, you see the guys in the spaceship, and none of them are looking out the window like, holy shit, we're in fucking space.
But they're
look at that.
But yeah, because they're
like
but
having coffee,
seasoned.
and
They're
they're like-
seasoned
yeah.
astronauts, though. They're like
Yeah.
that's what it's meant to
like
suggest.
they're eating a sandwich in a spaceship. Like,
Yeah, and it's funny that they gave you he purposely, I feel like, gave you all of the mundanity of what it is to be like, having to read what it's like to use, without how to operate without gravity, how to use the bathroom. He reads instructions
Yeah.
on without gravity. Eat, like the mundanity of eating food, like all these sort of, which is interesting because I always thought that when I see, maybe I grew up with Star Wars. And these were the first sort of, science fiction or quasi science fiction films that I had seen. And more like hero's journeys, really. But like, because Luke Skywalker could have been, it's an Arthurian tale almost. But Luke Skywalker is, I'm like, where did he ever go to the bathroom? Did these people ever sleep? Do they sleep? You never see them like tucking in the
Yeah.
bed. You know what I mean? Like it's just constant action.
Yeah.
Right? Like in this, I feel like it has this, and I really enjoy the pacing of a film that you're like, okay, I could just kind of chill out myself right now.
Yeah,
during
you
the-
can
know,
like just breathe. And for me, it
and
was
kind of space out.
it was kind of a lot. I mean, when I watched through the second half of the film, I was like trading crypto on my phone, like while I was
How's your
watching.
crypto doing right now?
Horrible.
Speaking of which, it's a
Atrocious.
non-tangible entity, really. like crypto, I still can't wrap my head around.
Honestly, I don't know if it's like I'm sort of going through a crossroads in my mind if crypto is even something I want to be putting like time and energy towards at all.
That's it. That's a completely evidence of what we're worth. It's merely.
Yeah.
I mean,
because of like how
we've been off the gold standard for a long. Like, what is the equal? What is the equalizer?
that might
for-
be the future though, because gold is limited.
Well, gold is we've been that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we just kind of agree
Yeah.
to engage the economy.
We can dig
this
up
is
more
the val-
gold though.
No, we can't really. We've actually we're running out of the resource, and so with we've been off the gold standard since I think 1948.
I mean, maybe gold and crypto is the way for the U.S. dollar definitely is not.
Well, the U.S. dollar is very much like crypto. It's so that's what I find. I mean, it's a fiat currency. You know, there's nothing backing it. It doesn't really have a standard. So there's no gold bullion that says you're holding cash in your pocket and it represents.
I think the most valuable of all currency is relationships.
I mean, that's essentially what currency is, though. We agree. Like you agree.
Yeah, but interpersonal relationships.
Sure.
Like
Yeah, I know what you meant.
like
Yeah.
like connection with other people. I mean, that's
But people don't. But the rest of the world maybe doesn't hold that same value. What I mean is, there's a value system that's universal, right? Like in the U.S.
Yeah.
dollar, might be still the universal, sort of trading
mechanism.
mechanism. So yeah, you
We're not trading in like
like hi, how you doing?
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
we're not
Like a
trading
good-
in
like
like
a
let's
sweet
go grab
pat-
a coffee
yeah,
later
like a
today.
sweet embrace and
We're not trading
and
in
a kiss
hugs
on the
over here.
cheek.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
be nice if we were. Which
But
that
I
is
think
currency
that's
that
value.
is currency and value for those primates, those hominids that are at the beginning.
Quality time.
They're
yeah.
picking fleas. That's how they do. That's how they exchange.
Yeah.
You pick the fleas off of my back. I'll give you a grape or two. That would be the bartering and exchange system for primates.
Sure.
More at a more basic level, and probably what maybe cave dwellers or early humans also engaged before we had currency, really.
Yeah, maybe the way forward is integration and expansion at the same time, learning new things and of this current era and time as we continue to integrate, the things of our past. Maybe, like,
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
I mean, I think that we're often doing that. We're often doing that in meaning that we're always standing on the shoulders of giants. You know what I mean? Like what came before us. What's going on in the market? This is like when it's at its most. So we've been out here talking for quite some time. We've
This is
been
when it
on.
really
We've been live for.
cools off right now. Like the market really chills out around like, what is it, 11?
Yeah. So we're at the Santa Monica Farmers Market, to reiterate where we're at and where we're. So that's another thing that this early podcaster that I was really a fan. I don't want to say he was a. It's not he. It was two guys, and I don't even know their real names, but they were. It was called Bob Dobbs, and he was like. They made up this religion sort of thing where he was like an ad man, but it was a religion of like the subgenius or something. It was called like this, and it was like an ad, looked like a Dick Van Dyke, a classic sort of ad man guy with a pipe in his mouth, like the the sort of Leave It to Beaver sort of father figure kind of guy that, like, the quintessential male figure from like the 50s kind of, right? And that was their brand. But they had like zines, and they had like did pirate radio and I came across one in like a mixtape, like they would maybe put it out. They were in the sort of doing these like flooding, what I told you, flash mobs and sort of culture jamming, really. Like these,
Sure, like
things.
radio.
Yeah, but it was pirate radio. And so when I would listen to Bob's Dobbs, eventually I realized that I knew the Bob's Dobbs group. Later on, there was this guy that had a show called Cash Flow, James Martinez Cash Flow, which, funny enough, and coincidentally, it was about the market. He was really about like talking about the stock market. But because it's such an abstract thing, he had on this guest that his name was Bob Neverett, who now had a new alias, and he was one part of these two guys, I believe, that was like, like I said, a McLuhanite earlier, Marshall McLuhan, which is the media.
Dude, this is really hard to follow.
I know, I'm sorry, the media but he would ask this question at the very beginning of the show when he'd come on James Martinez, and he'd go, where are we at right now, James? Because he was maybe calling in from wherever he was, and I think they were from Texas originally.
Oh, okay,
and
so
then,
it's a two-man group, and this guy calls in from random places, and he's like, hey,
well, he
where,
just might.
where are we at right now?
And James Martinez, who was hosting he would say, I'm in Hollywood. So like if I asked you, where are you? I like this sort of beginning of the show. Where are you right now? And you answered, go.
I'm at the farmer's market.
Okay, and where is the farmer's market?
We're on Arizona and 3rd Street in Santa Monica.
And where is Santa Monica?
Santa Monica is in Southern California, Los Angeles.
And where is Southern California, Los Angeles?
It is in the southern part of the state of California on the coastline.
But where is that?
That's a western state of the United States.
And where is the United States?
The United States is in the middle of North America.
And where is the middle of North America?
The middle of North America, and maybe not the middle of North America, but North America is a continent on the world.
Planet Earth.
Planet Earth.
And where's Planet Earth?
Planet Earth is in the solar system. I don't know the exact name of our solar system.
I think it's just the solar system, generically called solar system.
We don't have a name for the solar system?
No.
Okay.
So where is the solar system? I don't think we do.
Because the solar system exists in Gunner's reality.
I know, but where is the solar system?
The solar system is in the Milky Way.
And where is the Milky Way?
The Milky Way is in the vast expanse of infinity of this universe that we live in.
And where is that, though?
That is probably within some sort of massive grapeseed, That's,
we don't know
that's
where
another
we are.
like that's like another fruit, in a whole nother universe where like
I just like that it was an exercise that Bob was like, we really don't know where we are.
we have not really any clue
We don't have a clue where we are or what we're doing here.
where we at.
We know that
what
we're
we
at the
doing.
farmer's market right now.
What do you think the guy
attempting to do a
driving his
podcast, but-
Ferrari thinks, though?
You mean the one that was parked in the garage over there?
Yeah, sure. The lady who driving that
Yeah.
Ferrari. What do you think she's thinking? She's like, I'm in Santa Monica, just like
Living
Deal-
my life.
dealing with this. Like all my neighbors are annoying.
Yeah, whatever like sort of little incidental trials and tribulations she might be experiencing, but like she's not. You is she asking herself what the bigger picture is, or
I don't know. I'm just.
she might be.
Maybe.
She might be confused. She might be like,
what's
what?
the point of all this?
I mean, I think that people often stop and ask, what is the point? Like, do
It's
they?
to create, bro. It's to make things. It's to experience the blissful unfolding of reality and time. However, we experience it. And
Yeah, so-
in that is like the purest form of gratitude, which is unconditional love.
Uh-huh.
I think that I believe that everything is
Love.
rooted in love.
That's the
Like,
that's
that's
the,
the
that's the connect. That's the binding factor.
Yeah, that's the binder.
Yeah.
That's the glue, man. That's the glue.
I recognize that knife.
Because like you think about like a drug addict, like why does he do drugs? It's because he loves himself and he wants to feel good. Like he's trying to
feel good.
feel good.
Or is he trying to escape?
Maybe he's trying to escape the pain of not having love by trying to feel good, and in that getting because most drugs I would say are they create an emotional state that can be similar to love almost,
Sure. It's a
like getting high,
a substitute.
a substitute. Yeah, but it's not a full spectrum
No,
substitute. It's only one portion of
it's
it.
not lasting.
It's not lasting. No.
And did we have a guest on today? Or
No,
gonna
we
have-
didn't.
I thought you said we had something lined up.
Well, yeah, we could have had a guest on today, but we didn't.
Oh, okay. Did we
I didn't
want to
really-
test some? Did you put a melon on hold?
I did. Yeah. You want to try one?
Yeah.
Let's eat a melon.
Let's try it out.
Let's do it. I'll have them slice it up too.
That'd be great. And I'll get you on view going over there.
Here, I'll do it right here.
There you go.
to give me the log?
Oh yeah, I'll give you the lob. Let me see some. So we're gonna try these This is from. Wiser should be you gonna use the facilities. Wiser should be sponsoring us.
All right, Kenny. I'm ready to pick up a melon. We're gonna be eating it today on the podcast. So something nice and juicy. Can I try one of these?
Sure.
Come in a pair.
You want a melon?
Yeah.
I'll give you 2.
Yeah, that would be great.
We're talking about this. This one's like
Thank you, Mr. Weiser.
those 2 different ones.
All right.
Bonnie and Sugar Cube.
Bonnie and Sugar Cube? All right, Mr. Weiser, the man, the myth, the legend, just hooked it up with some beautiful melons. They're ice cold too.
Yeah. Better.
Kenny, is it cool if I use this knife? Thank you.
Oh, I need one more. So I need 6.
We're gonna slice these bad boys up right here, right now. Should I bring them over, Mike? You want to get me on the film?
So I don't know what's going on with that. We need to get you in. We need to just correct that. I don't know when to.
Are we back?
Let me see. Let me see. Oh yeah, we're back. Let's just get it to the side. Let me get it.
I'm the
here.
camera guy. Remember that?
Yeah, but just make it make it horizontal. I don't know why it's not. It should correct. Okay, there we go. Perfect. And I'll zoom in on you. You want to zoom in on you cutting the cantaloupe over there?
Yeah, I'm gonna go cut it up.
Should we have the Weiser on the show?
Absolutely.
He should come over and talk to us. Our buddy's there too. There's Gunner in action, cutting
What's
the
up?
cantaloupe.
Borrowed my board back.
Okay.
Okay.
You need it right now?
No, but it's for a show. So sorry.
It's for what?
A show.
Oh, okay. Was using that knife.
She said it was for a
She
what?
just took the knife.
Oh, okay. Was she upset?
We got melons, but we don't have
But-
something to cut them with. So,
But she's taking it for something. He's got a knife.
hey, do you have a knife, Jackson?
Jackson's got
there we
a knife.
All right,
Jackson,
thank you.
I want
Oh,
the
it's back.
knife.
Nice.
Okay, she hooked it up.
All right.
We'll
here
have
we
to
go.
have you on in a sec, Jackson. Yeah.
There we go. All right.
All right.
This is one of the melons that we're going to be trying today.
What kind of melons are those?
Looks pretty tasty.
What kind of melons we got there, Gun?
Huh?
What kind of melons are those?
One of them's a sugar cube and one of them is something else. I don't remember the name.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this one is the sugar cube. What are the names of these?
Sugar Cube and Bonnie.
Ah,
Oh,
sugar
the
cube
Bonnie.
and Bonnie. So the first one, the orange is the sugar cube.
I think the Bonnie's green
This
flesh.
one's called Bonnie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those ones are banging.
It's looking beautiful. She said, "Do it for the gram," whatever that means.
Oh, she thinks we might be doing
I know
it.
what that means.
Yeah.
She's saying, "Send it, go for it, for the Instagram." We're gonna do it for the life.
That's the new send it, is the life.
Do it for the life.
Yeah.
Do it for the love. We got Bonnie scooping the seeds out right here. Thank you, Weiser Farms, for
Providing?
everything you do for the market. Always so appreciative of you guys.
They're an official sponsor, they should
How are
be
you
at this
doing?
point.
Well, brother, how about yourself?
We're doing excellent. We're about to be sampling some melons on the show, on the air. What do you? What have you got over here?
I don't know how it is cold. I'm trying to
Cubano sandwich. Okay.
I have a pop-up in Sherman Oaks.
And this is your sandwich.
Oh, that looks like a banging sandwich.
That looks like a good sandwich. That's my co-host Mike right there. How is it?
Snack King LA.
Snack
It's pretty
King
good.
LA.
This is a cold Cubano, the first time I've ever had a cold Cubano.
Okay.
I have a muffalata, and I have a chicken salad. And I think I have one other type.
Okay.
A New Orleans sandwich muffalata, yeah.
That's really the star of the show.
What's in this sandwich?
This is a citrus roasted, slow roasted citrus pork
Yeah.
with pickles, Swiss cheese, and ham.
Nice. Is that mustard I see on
And
there
yellow
too?
mustard, yeah, all in my hands.
Okay.
Quite good. You're welcome to try these if you like. I don't
Totally.
Know if I don't know if I like this as much as the muffalata, but
I'll have a try.
and again, it's meant to be served hot.
Hot. Okay.
But I had one left over last night. I packed it up and here
Yeah. This is like cold pizza, but Cubano.
So exactly. I'm gonna get to the muffalata.
All right.
Let me
Here you go,
have a
Mike.
little taste, Gun. That looks amazing. What is that?
Cubano right here.
Cubano, okay.
Got a little Cubano on the setup.
That's
It's all good. Mmm. Wow.
I can see what he's saying. It's like
For a day-old sandwich, that's fantastic.
Uh-huh. I can see what he's saying because it's
I
a
could eat
press.
this.
Yeah.
You like it?
I could eat this,
All
bro.
right, well, you should try it hot then next time. This is the muffalata. That's served cold.
Are you going to be here every week?
He's here.
I sell melons here. I don't sell sandwiches either, just for our crew. But I'm at the Barrel Tavern in Sherman Oaks on Van Nuys Boulevard.
Are you here every Wednesday?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I usually am. Yeah,
We're here every Wednesday, too.
I've never seen you guys here before. New? Or you been here a while?
This is our second week.
Okay.
But I recognize you from the market.
Yeah, I've been working for Alex about 15 years.
Nice. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you.
And can we? So this is your sandwich shop?
I'm doing a pop-up at a bar in Sherman Oaks on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday nights.
Muffalata.
Sunday, Monday.
And the business name I came up with, I started on St. Patrick's Day kind of as a one-off. Because originally I was just going to sell the muffalata sandwich. Then we did corned beef and a bunch of other stuff, and now it's been 4 nights a week since.
And how's it going?
It's going. I added chili dogs. I do a pastrami dog now. We just added.
We
Nice.
should go out there and visit him, Gun, on one
Where's
day.
it at? In Hollywood?
In Sherman Oaks.
Sherman Oaks,
Okay.
Van Nuys Boulevard, between the 101 and Ventura Boulevard, closer to the 101, just south of the 101.
Got it.
I can find you a right one. Is that what you're looking
Here's
for?
the muffalata.
Let me try a little piece of that. Nice. Oh, you like that one?
I like that one the most.
Sorry to catch you.
Yeah.
No, please.
All right, we're going in with the
Feels pretty soft.
the Bonnie.
Does that mean it's ready?
It's got a little bit of give. It's not overripe.
Mmm.
And it's got a nice fragrance. It's good.
Wow.
What's your thoughts on the Bonnie?
Bonnie has a nice tang to it, man. That's a very unique melon. I mean, people hate on honeydew, bro. Honeydew hate is a real thing.
Wow.
You see honeydew in like a fruit spread, it's like it's the last fruit there.
That's crazy.
I mean, this
I didn't know that.
is on another level of melon though. This is nothing store-bought. This is just regular for the market too, which is amazing to see. I'm gonna bring us over a nice little sliced melon tray so that you can have some as well.
Sure. I was gonna ask Gun.
Because this is their cutting board, this is their setup. They don't mind if I borrow a box.
No.
So here
They're
we
gonna
go.
break those boxes down.
Just putting melons in a box. Okay. So yeah, we had a nice little sando.
Thanks for
Intermission.
de-seeding those melons, Gun.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Really good. I really like the texture on and the flavor, like that kind of tang you get on the Bonnie.
Mr. Weiser.
Mr. Weiser. My friend Michael just called your name out. Can you hear him?
Thank you. Oh, Michael. Right here. Wiser,
Yes, that Michael. Yes.
thank you for the melons.
You're welcome.
Really love them.
Thank you.
We're about to sample all these on the show right here. What is? Wow.
That is our crazy omelet with chili and cheese.
Okay.
Normally served cold, but
Wiser's one of the best farms here at the market. My
So if you're
personal
ever,
opinion. They're just friendly.
what's the address one more time? Van Nuys and
it's in Sherman Oaks, Van Nuys Boulevard, called the Barrel Tavern.
the Barrel Tavern.
Yep, and it's just south of the 101. I'll get you the exact address.
Barrel Tavern. If you're ever there in the evening, check it out.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday. We're there from 8 to 1 a.m.
I'm
Got
looking
it. Late
forward to
night
that.
spot. The Barrel Tavern.
I want to go over to the Barrel Tavern.
Just about done de-seeding these over here. Not rushing the process in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you for that, Gunner. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're here to appreciate. I know, they're so delicious too.
So which one is this one?
This one,
These?
yes, that's correct.
What do? You push the belly button, right? You can tell when they're right.
I would ask the guys working. They know exactly what to look for. They're melon experts.
They're experts.
Yeah, they truly are. I mean, look at the variety.
I know.
Have you ever seen something so beautiful when it comes to melons?
It's amazing. You know, Gunner, this looks awesome. Look at this spread. Let's get a.
Let's zoom out here.
Wow. This is gonna get. I don't want this to get too messy with the equipment, so I'm gonna try to do this. Oh my god. This thing is like candy.
Yeah.
You know? How can I get a melon T-shirt? We need to get some of those Wiser Family Farms T-shirts, man. We need merch.
I know the lady who makes them. She's selling them right over there. What's her name again?
Gunner, you know who I want to get? Oh, thank you, bro. You know who I want to get on the show is a kid that over there. You should go over to eat Garden of. Is that around my shoe? Oh, sorry. We're good. You should go over to Garden of and get Kenny over there, over here. He works for Maps.
What do you mean, Matt? Oh, the Google Maps?
No. He works for the.
Oh, this music is nice, bro. This is like some Donkey Kong music.
It does got a Donkey Kong vibe to it, actually.
I like it, man. This
More
is
like
great.
of a modern iteration of Donkey Kong.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Donkey Kong music is legit, bro. Like, there's a composer or the guy who did the music, David Wise. You know him? Legit, like great music.
Zelda has great
Nintendo in general, bro.
Yes.
That's the video game that I tend to gravitate towards.
For sure. That was the first game system.
I got the lav mic set up, so I'm gonna. Can you just turn this mic down?
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna use the lav while I'm eating.
Do it. All right. We need to get.
Damn, bro, that sugar cube, bro. We need another table.
I know. We need a table for food. Wow, it's juicy. You can hear how juicy it is. But be careful with that lob. Don't get that thing all fuzzy and sticky. Don't get that fuzzy part sticky, man. You know? You don't want your fuzzy sticky.
Bro, I'm smacking my lips.
I know, I see that. You're really enjoying it. Tasty, huh?
Oh man, bro.
Yeah, they got the best. Like, would you say that Wiser is most famous, most synonymous with their melons?
Yes.
Like that's their
Melons and potatoes.
I would say they definitely have the best selection of potatoes for sure. Like they have German butterball varieties, which I told you last time was my favorite. They have Magic Mollies. They have all the good varieties.
Thank you, Wiser Farms, for all you do for the market. Appreciate you.
Yeah, they're a great little establishment.
The contrast between the sugar cube And this Bonnie melon is so nice.
Yeah.
They both have such a unique flavor.
Did we, my other question
Wow,
is,
this one's almost got like a Sour Patchy like tang.
so I just got a message from a buddy, my buddy Tavitt, apparently, and this is somebody that's in your wheelhouse, Liver King. Do you know Liver King? No, he's not. Do you know the Liver King? No, it's not on
frozen?
here. No, we're on it.
We're frozen.
No. You shouldn't be.
Video's frozen.
Let me see. Oh, it did. It did get froze.
Got froze.
We got Frosty froze. Let me see. I'll
What
switch this.
happened, bro?
I don't know. Hold on a second.
Why is it canceled?
It's canceled? Let me see.
No, my Wi-Fi. There we go. We're back. We are back in business.
So
I like that Donkey Kong vibe, bro. That's nice.
we can go back to it.
Feeling good.
So what I'm going to ask is, do you know who the Liver King is?
Yeah, I do.
I guess he's having a full meltdown.
Adds up. I'm not surprised.
You didn't really believe in his whole...
I believed in some of it. I mean, the fact about, I think it's important to eat organ meat because you do get a variety, although it's quite simple. You look at the cow, 10% of the cow is made up of organ meat. So 10% of my diet, if I'm eating beef, 10% of my beef diet should be organ meat.
Yeah.
You know, like looking at the animal itself, quite simple.
Yeah.
Cow's made up of beef and organs and like bones
What are
and
you
all that.
looking down at right there, God?
Speaking into the mic.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't know what you were doing. That's a juicy melon right there.
This might be the best melon I've ever had to date.
Really?
The contrast of these two is just unmatched.
Yeah, that green one is like candy, and I'm gonna refrain from. It's just gonna get too messy, and it's gonna get too sticky over here for me. I'm glad that you're keeping it. What hundo?
Yeah.
Wow, you're really go. You're actually.
I'm
This is
going
not
for
just a tasting. You are actually mealing at this point. Yeah. No, you're really enjoying that.
Mm-hmm.
Thoroughly. So
I really
what
am.
I was gonna say is that
This is amazing.
we should have.
Thank you, Mr. Weiser.
Yeah, he's great. He's a cool guy. And like I said, I like everyone that works at Weiser Farm for the most part. All those guys are nice, personable guys, including Jackson, who we should have on to the show. He's
a cool guy, man.
He's a chef.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
He
that.
works at River. He works at River.
Really?
Yeah. He moonlights, I should say, at River.
So he's on the night shift?
No, I mean, well, moonlighting implying that all restaurant work, for the most part, is kind of a night shift if you're working the dinner. I don't even know if River RVR, and I'm not going to give any free ads and plug where they're at, because what have they done for me lately? But they are, do they have a lunch?
Abercrombie River. It's a great restaurant.
You should get you want to solicit for those guys. You want them to pay us for those ads. Gun, that's why I say no free ads.
Yeah,
We're
but
not
like,
doing this
in
on the
giving-
arm.
bro. In giving, we receive, man.
I know. I don't want to be too much of a stickler, but I want to.
Well, you're being too much of a stickler.
Yeah. I wanted to. It's kind of getting glitchy there. I wanted to find.
This is such a great show, bro. Once we get honestly, it's already great. I'm really looking forward to the point when we have a camera guy.
Yeah, we need to get.
When we have like some more support.
So, this gave me.
You know the poem "If"?
I don't. Who? Oh yes, I do. Isn't that a Sheldon Shel Silverstein poem?
I listened to that poem this morning.
Is that not a Shel Silverstein poem?
I don't know. Look it up. Or are you doing something?
I'm just doing one thing. I think we should actually. So yeah, it's a multidisciplinary association for psychedelic studies. Is MAPS, and it was out of San Jose. And the guy that works over at Garden of worked there. We should have him on the show. That's what I said. I asked him the one time, if you go over there and ask for Kenny, if you don't mind.
Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny. Ask him to come over here, and we'll have a little brief discussion with him.
Kenny
I want to know
at which location again?
Garden of is the name of the farm.
And it's on the corner?
It's the one it's one of my favorite farms here. I really am a fan of Weiser, obviously. Finley
Yeah.
Farms down here. Finley's, I love Karen. We'll get her on the show at one point. And Garden of, the heir, the son, I can't remember what his name is. I think it's Kai. He runs it over there. He's a little cagey, but Kenny that works over there is a really sweet guy. And
Okay.
he worked for MAPS, and I wanted to know, and I wanted to investigate. I said, we'll talk about it on the show. I didn't want to investigate too heavily.
Let's have him on. You want to get me to get him now?
Matt, why not? Fast and loose is the way we do it.
All
Hey,
right, I'll go
this
get him.
guy works at Garden of. Excuse me, buddy. I could tell him. I could ask if Kenny's over there. See with the green leaf.
Hey,
sweat-
Greenleaf.
Ah.